Deal Sports Talk with me, KP. It's October 21st, 2017. We got a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of sports going on. All the pro sports are going on at the same time right now. That's joyous. That's beautiful. Everybody's got a little bit of something they can look forward to if they're a sports fan, of course. Thanks for tuning in. This is Real Deal Sports Talk again with me, KP, Kyle Purcell, coming at you each and every Saturday night at 6:30. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for wanting to talk sports, listen to sports, reaching out to me on the social media. It's all much appreciated. It's all much love. You can get at us. Facebook, of course, we have our Facebook page, Real Deal Sports Talk with KP. You can follow us on Twitter at Real Deal KVP. That's our Twitter handle. We're out there in the Googleverse, so you can check us out there. We got a Google Plus community where we're posting stuff. You can check us out on LinkedIn if you want to get at us there. And always follow us on our webpage, realdealsportstalkwithkp.com. We do have some big things in the works. No announcements just yet, but we are working on some big things coming up here in the future. Some guests, some people to be on the show. So look forward to that, not only on the website, but as things develop, we'll talk about them here on the show as well. So this week, tonight's show, we got Week 7 predictions, of course. And like I said, I did go ahead and post my predictions this week on the webpage. So they were out there before the Thursday night game came out. And you can check those out at realdealsportstalkwithkp.com. So we'll go over the Week 7 predictions today. We'll talk about Marshawn Lynch, David Irving and Jerry Jones, Todd Gurley, Major League Baseball playoffs. The NBA is back. We'll look in on college football. And then at the very end, I want to rep this company. They're trying to do something big. Blackduel.com. We'll talk about them at the end of the show before we get out of here today. So let's jump right into it. This is Real Deal Sports Talk with KP, and these are our Week 7 predictions for the NFL. All right, and like I said, we put the predictions out there on the webpage so we could beat the Thursday night game. I believe if I look at the webpage, I have surprise upset Oakland wins at home, and that's exactly what we saw happen this week. They needed some extra plays and some downs there at the end due to penalties. However, Oakland was able to pull it out 31-30 over Kansas City as they have fallen back to the pack. We put out a blog post earlier, a couple weeks ago, about parity in the NFL. And the Chiefs falling back and the Raiders being able to do what they did Thursday night and get that win. Not only huge for them, but they were able to get one game closer to Kansas City, and back to the parity point. It shows that the team, Kansas City, that I had been saying was the only team who really looked like they were playing solid football in all three phases, is right there with everybody else. Oakland 2-4 coming into the game, Kansas City 5-1. Now they're 5-2. Granted, they still have a nice lead in the division, but it shows anybody can play with anybody right now in the NFL, and that's the beauty of what's going on. I love it. I can't get enough of it. Going on through the rest of the games that we got going on, Tampa Bay and Buffalo. I did take 9 road teams this week, not just to be, Mr. Upset, but I think a lot of the road teams are the better teams this week. I got 9 road wins. I'm taking Tampa Bay over Buffalo. I will take, let's see, who's next looking at the schedule. Ravens and Vikings. Looking back at the website, I took the Vikings, the home game there. I'm taking the Vikings to go ahead and knock off basically the average Ravens right now. Dolphins and Jets, I have... Where are they at? I could just re-pick them. However, I wanted to give the same ones I gave on the website. Miami is another home game that I took. They're actually the second home team that I was taking this week after Oakland and Minnesota, of course. So I guess the third team. Going on to the Rams and Cardinals. This one could be interesting. I think a lot of people this week are going to be jumping on Adrian Peterson. And of course, why not? He had a great week last week. He's got the name. He's got the lineage. All that kind of stuff. It is the Rams. They've been playing solid. Arizona's got the vets. I feel like the vets are energized right now. I feel like that Adrian Peterson has added some kind of comfort blanket for Larry Fitzgerald and Carson Palmer. Let's get Arizona's defense to have their best outing of the year. I think Arizona gets by in this one. They are one of the 9 road teams I'm taking to win this week. I'll take Arizona and the vets, who are re-energized by Adrian Peterson, to go ahead and beat the LA Rams this week. Not to say Adrian Peterson is going to have another great week like he did last week. I just expect the overall performance of the team to increase. Moving on to Jacksonville and Indianapolis, I will take Jacksonville in this one. Jacoby Brissett has been playing well. The receiving core has been playing well there for Indianapolis. They've had a nice running back by committee with Gore and Turbin. The defense has played better than I thought they could. That being said, Jacksonville has the better defense. If Leonard Fournette is able to go this week, I will take Jacksonville in that game. Next game on the docket, you got the Saints at the Packers minus Aaron Rodgers for the season. That being said, with Drew Brees, with their offense gaining so much momentum over the last few weeks, what they were able to do against Detroit last week with the 52 points, no Rodgers, I say Brees goes off again this week. I will take New Orleans in the shocker to beat Green Bay in Green Bay. Carolina over the Bears. I'll take Carolina on the road there. I think their defense is playing just well enough to beat Mitchell Trubisky in that offense, who has average weapons at best. Unless Justin Howard finds a way to go off for about 200 yards, I expect Carolina to win this one. Tennessee and Cleveland. I don't know what Cleveland's doing. They're back to DeShone Kizer this week. I will take Tennessee on the road. Browns go 0-7, and Tennessee gets back on the winning track this week. 49ers at the Cowboys. I have Dallas winning this one close. San Francisco is this year's LA Chargers. They like to lose every game close. Zeke's going to play this week. It has to be a distraction for this team right now, with everything that's going on with that. We'll see how much that affects Dallas. San Francisco's going to fight. They're going to fight every game. They're going to be in every game. They're not just going to let you win. But I think they lose another close one to the Cowboys this week. The Broncos at the Chargers. This might be an unpopular pick here in Denver, but I like the Chargers in this game. I think the Chargers give everybody here in Denver a little bit of a reason to panic more about the quarterback situation. However, I think Trevor Siemian does have his best game of the season this week. I don't think it's by his performance that they lose. I think Phillip Rivers and the Chargers just go off for one of their special performances they like to have against Denver, except this time they actually pull it out at the end. I'll take the LA Chargers in the upset over the favored Broncos. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I'm taking Pittsburgh at home. I think Le'Veon Bell wins this one. Maybe not on the ground. It could be through his performance through the air. Antonio Brown's having a nice season, 700 yards through the first 6 games. He's on pace for, I think, around 1,800 on the year. But I think Le'Veon Bell goes ahead and wins this one for the Steelers this week and is the difference maker against Cincinnati. Seahawks at the Giants. Seahawks defense is playing very well. I know they put Cliff Avril on the IR this week with a neck injury, and he might end up having to retire. We'll have to see how that plays out. That'd be a sad state for Cliff Avril, as he does so much humanitarian work. He's a great player. He was great in Detroit, great at Purdue. He's been great for Seattle. I hope his health comes around and he's able to be okay. I will take Seattle's defense over the Giants' offense. I think they take Ingram out of this one. I don't think Orleans Darkwa can go off on Seattle the way he did against Denver's defense last week. They'll take him out. They'll take Ingram out. And there's not much left for the Giants there. Seattle makes just enough plays to get by and win this one on the road. Big win for Seattle on the road this week. Sunday Night Football, you have the rematch of the Super Bowl, the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are a different team this year. They're playing solid defense. They picked up where they left off on defense. I like that. The offense has been out of sync. The switch to Sarkisian from Shanahan has not been smooth. Julio Jones has not been dominant this season in this system. Matt Ryan has shown holes. The running game has been there, but not the difference maker that it was last year, where it's set up to play action and all the different stuff Kyle Shanahan was able to do with those weapons in his offense. And everybody talked about Atlanta last week losing their lead, having deja vu from the Super Bowl. I think Atlanta probably is going to come into this game very focused. I expect it to be close. However, I'm going to take the Patriots to win this game, probably on the last drive, just like they did in the Super Bowl, because the Patriots are not what all of us thought they were coming into the season. It looked like they had retooled. It looked like they had gotten much better, and it turns out they are right there with the pack right now. They're going to have to rely on some players making some super plays for them to get to where they want to be, and to where, honestly, I thought they would be. I thought they were a Super Bowl contender. I thought they would probably be the favorite out of the AFC. Right now, I don't have a favorite in either conference. It's wrapping up to be a very interesting season, minus all of the political and racial BS that's going on out there with the league right now. But I will take the Patriots on Sunday night to beat the Falcons. That leaves us with the Monday night contest. And on the Monday night contest, I'm taking Washington to go into Philadelphia. It's the NFC East. They're the last road team I'm taking to win this week. I think the Eagles come back down to the pack a little bit, just like the Chiefs did this week with their loss against the Raiders. And Washington is just the type of team, like the Raiders, to go ahead and do that. So I will take Washington over Philadelphia Monday night in the NFC East division matchup. Those are my Week 7 picks. If you don't like them, if you agree with them, go ahead and reach out to us. Get out and get on Facebook. Talk to us. I'll get you on the show. We'll have you call in. You can share your opinion. It's what it's all about. It's why I'm here. It's why I love to do this. It's what I'm doing this for, is the interaction of sports fans, right, wrong, or indifferent. It brings us together, and it's all good stuff. Moving on to some other football stuff, Week 7 predictions. We got those out of the way. We all saw, Marshawn Lynch is a character, right? I said before the season I did not think that he was going to be the difference maker for the Oakland Raiders. I didn't see it. He retired originally and stepped away from the game because he had back problems. Yes, he's beast mode. Yes, I said he came back and he gets to play for the hometown team, and he's happy and he's doing all this stuff and he's having fun. And why not if you have the opportunity? Why not? But not the difference maker, not the Super Bowl team, not the dominant guy that he once was. Now, he's made it further into the season. He hasn't gotten injured than I thought he would. I predicted that by week 6, somewhere between week 6 and 8, that he'd have taken enough hits to where that back was going to start causing him more problems. Now, he hasn't been on the field for more than 13, 20 snaps a game, it seems like. And they've been able to keep him from re-injuring the back or getting injured. And he's had some good performances. Now, Thursday night, he's on the sideline. Marcus Peters comes in. You could argue it was late. I mean, it was as the whistle was being blown. He had already started to project himself towards the quarterback who was going down. He led with his shoulder. He hit the quarterback in his side, not in the head, not in the knee, not around the ankles. And of course, I'm talking about Marcus Peters. He plays for Kansas City. Lynch sees this. Raiders' offensive line are coming to the quarterback's aid just like they should. Marcus Peters is Marshawn Lynch's cousin. He runs out on the field. He wants to protect his cousin, it's being reported. He wants to, kind of squash it, break it up, keep it from happening, keep anybody from getting hurt or whatever. He runs out on the field, ends up making contact with the ref. ends up grabbing the ref and moving the ref out of his way. They call it a push. He more so just kind of, grown man moved him out the way. These are things you cannot do. You cannot do this. He has been fined. He has been suspended one game. I agree with that. Had they gone over the one game, that's ridiculous. But you cannot come onto the field if there's an altercation, if it's something to do with your family. You come onto the field if someone drags your wife or your kid out onto the field at gunpoint. Then you're going to come out onto the field. If somebody's doing something egregious and it's a family member, okay, I agree with that. Go ahead and go handle your business. Now, his intentions, like Chris Carter said this week, Marshawn's intentions were right. You go out there to protect your teammates. You go out there to protect your family. But his actions were wrong. He can't. There's too many people that are watching that. There's too many people that now are going to go, well, hey, it's acceptable. And not for the right reasons. They're not going to go out there because they're trying to stop something from happening. They're going to go out there because they're mad about something. They're going to go out there because they've seen it before and now it's in their subconscious. It's the reason the NBA has fines and suspensions. You cannot leave the bench for an altercation. It doesn't make things better to add more fuel to the fire. So when I saw that, I instantly was like, oh, nah, Marshawn, you're having so much fun this year. Now you're going to go get yourself suspended. He's challenging the suspension, but that's not going to go anywhere. He deserves to be suspended. You cannot go out on the field like that. You can't put your hands on the ref. No matter how mad or how wrong or how stupid the refs can be at times, you can't put your hands on them. That's just how it is. You don't put your hands on the police. You don't put your hands on the refs. You don't put your hands on your mama. There's just certain people you don't put your hands on. Really, you shouldn't be putting your hands on anybody. Then he's kicked out of the game. He's ejected. What do you do when you're ejected? You're supposed to go be in the clubhouse. You're supposed to leave the stadium. You can't be on the sideline. Well, it turns out he snuck into the stands, watched the rest of the game with the fans, being Marshawn Lynch. I mean, I found it funny. I don't know if there's any rules against that specifically. Don't know if he paid for a seat so he could have readmittance to the game, or if the Raiders were just like, here, you, Marshawn, go find an empty seat and sit on it. Then after that, we get footage of Marshawn riding the metro train or the bus home, clowning with the fans, hanging out with the people. And like I said, Marshawn, he is in a very special position right now where he's able to just have fun. He's enjoying himself. He's doing stuff in the community. He's getting to just be a person while at the same time being a celebrity and an NFL player. And that doesn't happen very much. In fact, you can't really think of too many instances where that happens at all. So I enjoy it. I enjoy that he's out there having fun. But he's got to be smarter about stuff like running out onto the field, putting his hands on people. Even if it wasn't in a violent way, those are things you can't do. The rest of the stuff, having fun, all that, go for it. Have all the fun you want, beast mode. You've earned it. You deserve it. You're a 30-something-year-old man. You got some money. You're being able to play with your hometown team and make a difference before they leave town. So just keep letting it ride. Raiders fans, enjoy it as you can. And keep your hands off people. All right, this story, I just read about this today. It's something I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I'm interested to see how it plays out and what both parties involved are going to do. But David Irving, a defensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys, is basically set to test Jerry Jones' ultimatum and threat this week of protesting the national anthem. Now, it's been broken down and switched and changed into, if you disrespect the national anthem or the flag, something's going to happen. But Jerry Jones' original comments were, there will be no protesting. From what I remember and what I read and what I continued to follow, it was just protesting in general that what he was finding disrespectful, and if that were to happen, players were going to be benched. Well, David Irving is on record saying he is going to do something this week. Whether that's what he's done in previous weeks and he's going to put a fist up, whether he kneels, whether he doesn't come out to the field, he has not let us know. That's not part of our knowledge base right now, but David Irving is set to basically test Jerry Jones this week and do some kind of protest, some kind of display for the national anthem. I say congratulations, young man. I support you. I back you. I am with you in that aspect. I do not stand for the national anthem. I do not pledge allegiance to a piece of fabric. I respect our soldiers and those who put their lives on the line. I appreciate everything that they have allowed for me to do. I do not fall victim or become the sheep to the rhetoric that I'm just supposed to believe that every person in this country is better than every person in another country. I live here. I see what's going on here. I know there is social injustice. I know there is criminal justice reform that needs to take place. I've educated myself on many issues. I continue to educate myself on these issues. And I continue to be baffled and stupefied by people who live in a world of fear and hate and racism and bigotry and prejudice. I feel for you. I feel sorry for all of you. I would like nothing more than for you to wake up and live a life where you're not just going to hate somebody because they're different, but you find that fascinating and interesting, and you want to learn about it and better yourself and better everybody around you because of that. So David Irving, go do what you do. We support you. All right, lighter note. Todd Gurley, Rams, playing in London. He is not a fan. I am not a fan. I'm not. I don't like the international games. We don't have teams in international cities. I don't like the rumors that come from that maybe we'll start having the Super Bowl somewhere else, or we're going to do this, that, and the other thing. Look, if eventually it becomes a world game, which at this point it looks more like we're headed back to the game of football just being an amateur and kids game. It looks like the business of professional football has grown too big and could quite possibly topple upon itself. But let's say it grows to a true international game. Okay, you start opening up some teams then. You open up a London franchise. You open up a franchise in Mexico, in China, across the different European countries. I could see that at that point. I don't think the NFL's there yet. I don't think the business model is there yet of the game. The season is going to have to be extended for that to happen. Travel, bye weeks, the number of weeks of the regular season, all of that is going to have to change. And for that to happen, both sides are going to have to come together. The players are going to have to get a lot more money. They're going to have to get more of the profits, more of the revenue sharing. So we'll see what happens in 2020, 2021, when the collective bargaining agreement comes around. But I'm with Todd Gurley right now. I think the international games are a no thank you. I think they need to come to an end. They were kind of a fad for me when I was a kid. It was like, oh, they're playing in China, they're in Mexico City, oh, cool. But now it's more like, why? Teams are losing the home game. Fans aren't getting to go see their team unless they have money. And more, the average fan like me is not afforded the same opportunities to go support, see, or root for our teams because ticket prices have gone so high. Because you want to have international games. Bring it back to the regular fan. Don't get so big that you forgot what built you and what made you. I got into a discussion with some people earlier this week, and I am of the opinion that sports do not need fans to exist. We are not an integral part to any athletic competition. And I say that not only as a former athlete, but as a fan. I realize that. I realize that my money, sure, drives the league. It makes their contracts possible. It puts money in their pockets. But that's a small percentage of people who grow up going, I want to be rich playing football, or I want to be rich playing this sport. More people grow up going, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to play in the NFL. I want to be the best baseball player ever. Their focus is not on the fans. Their focus is not on the money. It's on the athletic achievement. When they're putting in the work, they're putting in the work for the athletic achievement, for the sports, for their team, for their brothers, for their sisters. The leagues and sports do not need us. We need them. We have become reliant on them. We have become needy of them. Shoot, I'm doing this because they exist. I get to talk about sports with you guys because they exist. I'm on both sides of the equation. I get it. I need them to be able to do what I'm doing. They don't need me to go do what they need to do. So, as far as the international games go, I could take them or leave them. I'm not a big fan. If it eventually grows to that point, like I said, and it becomes a true world game, that would be great. There's going to have to be some rule changes and some safety and some dedication to technique, more practice time in pads. And some of the rules are going to have to change. It can't just be protect the offensive players. The defensive players are going to need to be protected too. Their rest is going to have to be taken into consideration. All those things. It's a slippery slope, and it's one that's hard to see being achieved. So we'll just have to see if it continues to be a fad or if the NFL actually moves forward with some kind of international agenda. All right, Major League Baseball playoffs. I put my predictions out there. Everybody knows I took the Cubs to beat the Giants. I took the Astros to beat the Yankees. Astros and Yankees play tonight. They might have kicked off already. Let's see if they've kicked off already. I honestly don't know. Game 7. Oh, maybe they don't play tonight. When do they play? Yeah, they play tonight. They play here in about they kicked off at 6 o'clock. So, winner takes all on that game tonight. And I'm sticking with it. I'm going to take the Astros to beat the Yankees. And they will then get the honor of facing the Dodgers in the World Series. I don't know. I don't believe the Astros have ever been in a World Series. The Dodgers have now made it to, I believe, their 21st or 20th appearance in the World Series. If the Yankees make it and they win tonight, it'll be their 41st appearance in the World Series. And right now, based on the way the Dodgers seem to have just flipped a switch and turned it on, they weren't looking good at the end of the season. I didn't have high hopes for them coming into the season. They were dominant through the middle of the season. And all of a sudden, you hit the playoffs and the LA Dodgers have flipped a switch. They dominated the Cubs. They made the Cubs look like a second-rate franchise, and they are the defending World Series champions. They did it with the long ball. They did it with amazing pitching. Clayton Kershaw, you have killed your playoff ghost as far as I'm concerned. I think you're going to do great in the World Series. I would love to see the Astros and their pitching staff get to go against the Dodgers and their pitching staff to see who can pull it out, especially with the trade of Justin Verlander down there to Houston and what he's been able to do now in the playoffs after basically having an average season at best. And now in the playoffs, being traded to Houston shortly before the playoffs started, he is just dealing. So that would be the most exciting outcome for me right now. The Dodgers, like I said, they dominated. I picked Houston originally to win the series, so I'm sticking with that pick. We'll see how it turns out tonight after the game's over. But for Dodgers, Yankees, and Astros fans, enjoy it. Sit back. You're going to have one heck of a World Series, Dodgers fans, with whoever you get to play. And, hey, not only that, sports fans, not only is it Major League Baseball playoffs, we're about to enter the World Series, not only are we're close to halfway through the NFL season, hockey's back. The Las Vegas team is just doing their thing. We're not really going to get into hockey today, but the Las Vegas team is killing it. The Avs have started off pretty hot here, playing much better as living here in Denver. But the NBA is back. I'm so glad the NBA is back. I'm super excited the NBA is back. I can't tell you that this is my favorite time of year. We got both the NFL and basketball. Those are my two favorite sports growing up to play and to watch. I participated also in baseball and swimming and soccer. Did some golf in my later teens. But basketball and football is where me and my friends growing up spent the most of our time. We had the most fun hanging out. I love basketball, not as much as I love football, but I love basketball. So it's great the NBA is back, and there's some early season headlines that are just, you wouldn't have expected. The Cavs are looking pretty good. They're handling their business right now. They were able to get past Milwaukee last night. Derrick Rose did injure his ankle. It looked pretty bad. But the Cavs are looking good. D Wade's looking good with them. I'd like to see JR a little more excited coming off the bench, but he's going to have to get used to that role. A couple minutes into the opening game the other night of the Celtics and Cavs, we all saw the horrific incident with Gordon Hayward, and his ankle and his foot basically looked like it just fell off, turned around, and was backwards. All kinds of wrong. As somebody who's broken their ankle, I had a little bit of flashback, a little PTSD watching that. Felt some sympathy pain, I guess, in my ankle. Other players, Paul George reaching out to him. We all remember what happened when he broke his leg. And a lot of love went his way. I feel sorry for him. I was really excited to watch this Celtics team with Hayward, with Horton, with Kyrie, and to see how they were going to be able to compete there in the East. Now we'll have to see how the Celtics move forward without Gordon Hayward, because I don't see him coming back at any point in this season. Marcus Morris, he's still out right now after his hernia situation, but he's going to have to really step up when he gets back. Marcus Smart, he's going to have to really step up. They're going to have to get more out of the rookie Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown, he's going to have to, again, everybody's going to have to step up, play a larger role, fulfill the potential, fulfill the talent level that everybody thinks that this team has. Horford's going to have to be a beast. He needs to be getting like 15 and 15, night in and night out. Jason Tatum, he's going to have to average over 15 points a game. Jaylen Brown's going to have to average around 20 points a game. Those are the guys they're going to have to look for to get offense out of since Hayward's out. And maybe the Celtics go ahead and they bring somebody in through trade. I don't know. They don't have that deep of a roster. They did have a talented group, though. Houston's got a talented group. They look really good so far. Coming back and beating Golden State on that first night. Chris Paul is out for about a month with his injury, so we'll see how they're able to hold that out. He did play 30-something minutes on that injury that he had sustained in the preseason that first night. And Lonzo Ball, hey, not a great welcome to the NBA. He found out it was a grown man's league. At 19, it's time to be a grown man. Patrick Beverley welcomed him to the NBA, locked him down, and let him know, look, kid, you in the NBA. Your daddy's been running his mouth. You playing against some grown-ass men. It's time to step up and for you to have grown man type skills. Yeah, you can ball, but this is a man's game. And Lonzo came back the next night. He responded very well. Almost had that triple-double, 1 assist shy. He had the 29 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists against a Phoenix Suns team that's still young. And he looked good. He looked good. He was one of the youngest ever to put up numbers like that. Nobody ever said the boy can't play ball. Everybody's problem is with the dad and his mouth and the arrogance, and he just got flatulence at the mouth. It's like he had some beans and it just do. We can't appreciate the kid's game because the dad runs his mouth too much. But he responded very well in the second game. I was impressed with that. Congratulations, Ball, Lonzo. Continue to build. Continue to work on your craft. Continue to fulfill your potential. Eventually you'll have the pieces around you, hopefully being in that LA Lakers market, that you'll get a championship. But welcome to the NBA. It is a man's game. What else is going on in sports? Let's look in at college football. We got two great games tonight. Great games in my opinion tonight. Penn State and Michigan. They're early in the first quarter right now. 7-0 Penn State. And Notre Dame USC. This is one I always like watching as a kid and each and every year. I'm used to watching it later in the season, a little bit later, a couple weeks later in the season. But USC and Notre Dame also early in the first quarter has a 7-0 lead over USC in that one. Some of the other scores from today or other games that are going, Oklahoma has been able to pull out in the lead over Kansas State, who had a big lead early. They were up 21-7. Oklahoma is now currently up 35-28. Other games from today, Auburn is up right now 7-0 over Arkansas. Alabama blew up Tennessee 45-7. Wisconsin wins 38-13 over Maryland. Syracuse fought hard today, but Miami wins that one 27-19. Oklahoma State just gets past Texas 13-10. Virginia Tech all over North Carolina, who apparently Mitchell Trubisky was a beast down there because they are 1-7 on the season, 0-5 in the ACC as Virginia Tech rolls 59-7. Michigan State 17-9 over Indiana. UCF, who's 6-0, rolls 31-21 over Navy. Another game later tonight in the Pac-12, Washington State and Colorado. For all you Pac-12 fans out there, a little bit of look in on college football. I'm going to be definitely flipping back and forth between the Michigan Penn State and the USC Notre Dame game tonight as I see them on right now looking over at the screen. Those are two great games. I would love to see Michigan pull the upset. I think this could be just the season of upsets. But Penn State, they're a strong team. They're inside the red zone right now with a 7-point lead. And Notre Dame, I'm always going to be a Notre Dame fan. I'm a Notre Dame fan because of Rudy. I'm a Notre Dame fan watching Newt Rockne tapes. That's a tongue twister right there. And just the heritage. When I started getting into football as a kid, Notre Dame was dominant. Lou Holtz was there. They were playing the University of Colorado and the University of Miami, and big national games that I can remember watching and just going, okay, that's what I want to do. So if you're a college football fan, go watch some of those games tonight, and just sit back and enjoy if you can. Last thing I want to get into for today's show, I told you guys at the beginning of the show, I give a little shout out to these guys as they're entrepreneurs, black-owned businesses. You got to respect that. I am for all equality and doing your thing, and as long as you are not doing something to harm somebody else, I'm going to lift you up. And Walter Dawson, well, let me rephrase this. Antoinette Doles is the first female, African-American, black female, to own a daily fantasy sports league. Her and Walter Dawson have started blackduel.com. Daily fantasy sports. You can play for fun, you can play for free. There's prizes and awards that can be earned. It's daily fantasy sports covering both the NBA and the NFL. It's the first and only black female-owned company of this kind. Their specialty, blackduel.com, in case you can't get it, you are only drafting black players. Now you got to respect that. Most of the leagues that we watch as a fan, if we're not going to be racist and get all up in arms and go, oh, why can you only draft the black players? Well, they make up most of the league. They're really not leaving anybody out. And you know what? They're running in their own lane. It's a niche. It's a niche market. They're trying to find their space to do their thing. And I respect that. Much love. I hope you guys take off. I hope you make lots of money. I hope me talking about you on the show drives people to your website and you can get some business from that. And you know how we do. Until next time, it's all love. And just, Be real.